Okay, I'm back again for the third time today, and everybody's probably thinking, wow, this guy really has no life. He's on the camera all the time. Well, I'm just starting, so if you want to leave out the has no life comments for later, it would be very much appreciated. I do have a life, and I'm having a very good one. Thank you very much. Alright, today's third topic would be education. Formal education is basically what I'm talking about. Not the good things, but the bad things, and why formal education actually poisons the mind of kids and adults. Am I talking about college? Not really. Am I talking about universities? Not really. I'm basically talking about elementary through high school. Now, everybody's probably asking, or if you're not a stupid person or a person who doesn't know, you already know what formal education is. But in case you don't, I'll tell you. Formal education is when a teacher basically uses a research and write or research and type of process. It's basically strictly formal, and all you're doing is learning what everybody else already knows. There was a survey done on the percentage of seniors who know what they learned through the 13, including kindergarten, 13 years of learning. The percentage that they remember is 20% of 100% of all learning. And that 20%, where it resides, is late elementary into early middle school. High school just kind of flies by, and early elementary doesn't do anything either. Really, people just rarely remember what they're being taught. And there's a reason for that. It's because the teachers aren't teaching in the right ways. Now, this may not be the same way for every single school. If your school is doing a good job at teaching, then very good. I'm very happy for your school. But I'm starting this because my school doesn't do such a great job on teaching, in my opinion. I don't know about other kids in my school, but in my opinion, it doesn't work so well. I learn 90% of what I know, which is a lot, and that could come back to haunt me by saying that, because you might disagree. I know quite a bit, but I learn it on my computer, at home, or in the library. Also in books that school doesn't assign for me. In fact, some of the books that I've read, school has said I shouldn't read those books because the information is kind of corrupt. I found out that the information in those books are more correct than the information that the school is teaching me, and I learn it and I remember it a lot more. Now, there is what I call the creativity process. Now, the creativity process is a better way of learning. No matter what you're learning, it's a better way of doing it. I was talking to my friend, Steven, who is a philosopher. He's older than me. He's a philosopher, and he likes to talk about a number of things. And we were just talking about education the other night, and I was telling him that my school generally tells us what to look up, where to look it up, and then how many words we need to type, and then hand in the paper. Now, if you get anything lower than A or B, it's because you don't care about the project, or the teacher didn't show you anything. I was trying to tell my friend Steven that in most cases, grades don't actually, they aren't what the student is doing, they're actually what the teacher is doing. The teacher is almost totally how you're going to end up learning. If a teacher doesn't help you find the ways to learn, you will not learn unless you're a self-made person who tries to find the answers for yourself. So I said, I brought up English for an example. I said, if we had a 3-page English process in learning basic English, not necessarily vocabulary, because that can be taught fairly easily, but as far as punctuation spelling, grammar, and so on goes. There's an easy way of doing it. I call it the three-page process, where you have 3 pages of paper. The first one is completely correct. All the English is correct. And the second one is completely, not completely, but pretty bad. It's not very good English. It's pretty messed up. The 2 pages cannot be on the same topic, and they cannot have the same materials. And the 3rd page is blank, and you tell the student, look at the first page, see what the person who did the English right did, then look on the 2nd page and see that the person who did it wrong did, and then try to create a observation process to see what the first person did right, and then try to use those hints and tips in order to make the 2nd page correct English on the 3rd page. Now, by doing this, it doesn't only help their English skills, but it helps with deductive reasoning, and it helps with observation, because they have to look for what's wrong, and they have to figure out what is right. So it's a really good way of learning, and it's obviously probably not my idea. I just think that's a heck of a lot better than people telling you, go on the computer, research this, write it down, type it up, do whatever, and the only people who fail that are people who aren't interested, or people who just don't do it, period. So I think that's a better way of learning. And you can incorporate that into almost everything. Of course, you have to change it a little bit, as in math, you'd have to change it so they'd know what the symbols and everything meant, such as in algebra. Exponents and so on would have to be explained, but you didn't have to tell them exactly what they had to do. They could figure it out. And it's just a better way of doing it. It lets their creative mind take over. And creative mind is really what the world is lacking right now. Creativity. If we had more creativity, we would be smarter people. Our kids in school, including me, are learning what everybody else already knows. The only people who ever learn anything or develop anything stronger than that are the people who develop creativity, or the people who are just geniuses from birth. Einstein says that he wasn't a genius. His IQ said that, but he said, all I am is a person with creativity and a person who can concentrate on things for a longer period of time. And by doing that, he was able to look at things, figure out what's wrong, then try to correct it, even if what he's correcting or what the methods he's using to correct them are not known. If it works out in the end, you develop something completely new. I was reading something the other day that said that knowledge in America and information and inventions and so on in America and in the world are pretty much run dry. There is nothing really huge that can be invented anymore. I beg to differ. I believe that there are many things that can be changed, many things that can be improved, many things that can come out for the very first time. And we may see those things if we start incorporating the creativity factor into the schools. Also, I was talking to my friend Stephen about whether it mattered if history was taught forwards or backwards, either starting from the beginning to the present, or from the present to the beginning. And really, I think it's actually better to start with the present. Why? Because no one really knows what happened in the beginning. There are so many theories, whether it be evolution, creationism, any theory, the Big Bang Theory, everything. There are so many theories, but none of them can be completely proved right. So schools will be looked at strangely if they pick one of those. Things will be lopsided and lots of complaints will formulate, as they probably already have, because most schools start with a beginning time. He was talking about cause and effect relationships and how it's better to learn the causes before the effects. But I quickly pointed out that most people see effects before they see causes anyway. Take a fireman, for instance. They get called in to put out the fire before they even know what caused it. 9/11, we saw the planes hit, and quite a few, just about all Americans didn't know what the heck was going on. Is that because they're ignorant? Maybe. Or maybe it's because no one really wanted us to know, aka the government. It's beneficial to learn causes, but I don't think it matters as far as history goes to learn the causes before the effect. And in fact, it can make it more interesting if you start with effect and then go back into causes. So that's all I have to say about this. I hope I'm not running over my time, because that would be a complete waste of my time to make this video and then realize I don't have enough. I have too much footage. So anyway, see you later.